Hello, and welcome. I hope everybody is having a really nice Saturday. If it's Saturday in your neck of the woods, I'm not sure what day it is for you, but it's Saturday for me. Hello there, Magical Nev. How are you doing? You know I love me some pink hands waving. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Today, I found a really cool show on Netflix I think it's called Show 8, and it's about a group of people that are in kind of like a building. I'll just leave it as a building. And they go into a particular room. They don't have like any kind of furnishings or anything, but they earn like a lot of money each day, or they have the opportunity to. And so I've watched a couple of those episodes, and that was very intriguing. And right now I have on, it's season 6 of The Walking Dead on the Walking Dead channel, because I just love having that on in the background of my life. And it is the episode called Thank You. And that's the one where everybody was like, oh my gosh, did Glenn die? When he, like fell off the dumpster with, I forget the character's name. But I mean, they were surrounded by walkers, and it was just a thing. And there's a horde coming, and Rick's trying to lead the walkers somewhere, and Daryl is helping. I mean, it's just like great big huge affair going on. And they're trying to then get back to Alexandria. And I think this is before, I think Carl loses his eye, I think. I don't remember. Hey there, Queen. How are you doing? And happy belated birthday. I hope you had a very happy one. I sent you a message on Discord. I've had a rough couple of weeks of just not feeling it. I'm still kind of not feeling it today. I'm just kind of bleh. And hello, Jelly Snack. How are you? But I am so glad you guys have enjoyed the songs. I appreciate that so very much. And I am not going to take credit for somebody else's work. And I have a very kind informer who created those for me. And it's like, here, pop this up. And every time I see one, I crack up and I'm like, wow, that says a lot. And in a very short time. And there's also more coming. So again, shout out to this person, and it's someone that means a lot to me, that I've come to be very close friends with, because we, I guess, commiserate with each other about this entire mess going on in the world of OnPassive. And they're just a sweetheart. Just an absolute sweetheart. Hello there, Insolent Violet. How are you? And thank you so much for the kisses. Hello, Nancy Davis. How are you? I hope you are having a good day. So today, I don't know, who here has heard of the blog MLM, The American Dream Made Nightmare? Send up an emoji, raising your hand, a little dancing girl, something, a wine glass. I don't really care, but just one. You're absolutely right. These MLMs con women, and they con everyone. That's basically the thing, is they, not just women, just anybody in their line of fire. That's what they do. And I do consider them a rigged racket, and consider them started by criminals, run by criminals, and promoted by criminals. Because, they make it sound as if anybody can just start and they are going to be making top dollar. And we all know that's just not how it goes. And the other day, I came across a podcast, and I was very interested in it because it was an interview with Robert Fitzpatrick. And guys, I have read part of his book, Ponzi-nomics. I've also interviewed him several times and consider him a friend and colleague. Just, really appreciate the work that he has done for so many years. So when I saw that there was an interview, I was like, oh, great. And I was actually very surprised that he would be interviewed by this person. I was like, that just seems odd, but okay, you know what? Because he is a man that has a lot of class. So I'm like, okay, I could see him doing something and doing it in a classy manner. Well, it ended up basically being a let's slam his character and let's really mislead people by how we title this podcast. And I just thought that was really low, because it's like, what are you that desperate for listeners that you're going to use his name to get people to listen? And it really, I thought, was in such poor taste to do that. I mean, if you are going to mention someone, fucking talk about, like, with that person. If you're saying it's an interview, you better damn sure have that fucking interview going on at that time. Or if you interviewed that person in the past, reflect on an interview that you did. Maybe it was, off screen or something, and you took notes and you had a conversation and you were given permission that you can discuss it. But, something like that. Don't mislead people by the title and say it's an interview with someone, and then you're just doing nothing but completely dunking on them. I just thought that was just really weird. Now, if they had said that that's what they were going to do, that would be one thing, but they didn't. It just was totally misrepresented, and I was not appreciative of that. Okay, so what we are going to do, and I don't know if I got you guys saying that if you have heard of MLM, the American Dream Made Nightmare, or not. Oh, you have Mr. Level Productions as your AI song creator. That's fantastic. I'm so glad that you have somebody doing that for you. I'm sorry, I cannot reveal this person because this is source for me. And I keep my sources private. And if I ever have permission to share with you anything, because there are things that I do know, because I think I saw something somewhere. And somebody said something about, I think it was doing a deep dive on Ron, because I put out that little video earlier today, which was a snippet from the Let's O show. And they're like, let's do a deep dive. And I'm like, oh, I do know things, but I don't have permission to share the things that I know. But when I do have permission to share things, I do share them. But I'm not going to overstep, what someone is providing me with intel and just like kind of go behind their backs and be like, well, let me just spill the beans, because who then would actually, give me any information if they did not feel like they were protected? So, there's that. So just so you guys know, I have information. I'm just not disclosing that information. And the information is not pretty. That much I will say. It's not like all fun and games and like, wow, what a stand-up guy. It's not that. That much I will say, and I'm comfortable saying that. So there you go. All right. So you do, we had to parody Bill Musk production somehow. Well, I am so glad, because you know what? They deserve to be, because those things are something else, they really are. So it looks like nobody has heard of MLM, the American Dream Made Nightmare. Well, this is a blog by David Brear. David Brear is someone, like, my first year into doing all this stuff, way back in 2019, I spoke to him literally every single day, by email, by some kind of form of contact. David and I were in contact with each other. And he's also close friends with Robert as well. And I think the last time I spoke to David earlier this week also, and he did send me another article. He sent me 2 related articles, and those I'm going to share with you, because I think they're important, because I think it also illustrates how journalists never really come out and say the truth that they find out about MLM. And last time I read to you about Ponzi-nomics, that's kind of something that, Robert spoke about, is that he'll get all these people contacting him, but the stuff that they really find out, they'll never print. And it's kind of in association with that. So I thought it might be interesting, because David is across the pond, and he really the persona that he uses in his writing, his author's voice, is he holds no punches. I'll just put it that way. And I love that about him because he just lays it on out there. And he's a very kind person. Now, I am not going to tell you all about his background in MLMs because I don't feel like that's my place. But what I can say is that it impacted his family in a very negative way, and it destroyed relationships. So, but he's a really good guy, and he writes some really great things. Lamar, I think like journalists are afraid to do it because of and I'll get to it in Ponzi-nomics, the political connections, the powers that be that support MLMs. So it ends up being just, really difficult for people who are being paid, like, let's just say the Wall Street Journal, for instance, and how they get money and who they get money from and advertisers and blah, 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 blah. It's a real kind of a mess because it would be kind of a conflict of interest and they would make people angry. Now, I feel like just go ahead and print the truth, but I don't think anyone has, unless you read it like in books that Robert has written. And like in the other one that I was reading to you, that came out in 2010, and now I can't think of the title of it, and some other books that I have and stuff where you can find, some truth there, or a lot of truth. I mean, the stuff that Robert has written, it is truth. And the research papers that Dr. Taylor has done, which I do have some of his work as well. There's truth there, but for people to fully expose and for people to fully stand up and say, I think it's a rigged racket, I think it's a bunch of criminals running this stuff, people are not comfortable saying that. Especially academics. They're not comfortable saying that because they have a job to do and they don't want to take heat from their dean, their school to take heat. I mean, like, it just ends up being a problem for them. And some people don't give a fuck about that stuff and will do it anyway. I just don't think we have found people willing to stand up and do that. And I do hope one day we do. So that's my take on it. I hope that makes sense. And how are you doing, Lamar? Thank you so much for being here. I'm very glad that you're here. So anyway, that's a little bit about David. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys so I can read this first. Let me see. Is this? Yeah. Okay. This is the article from April. And I will remove myself. I'm also going to put on a different background because this one has just way too much going on. So give me a minute to change that up and talk amongst yourselves, keep each other company. There. We will do it like that. What do you guys think of the scam alert frame that I have? Do you like the scam alert frame? Or do you still prefer the fire? Because if you want the fire, I will gladly put the fire back up. Which do you prefer? Anyone? Let me know. And now I've got to move this over so I can actually scroll it down some. Hang on a second. I'm doing that for my benefit. So it will fit over there on this screen. I need to be able to reach yeah, that will do it. Okay. So this is from Friday, the 19th of April of this year. And the title is The Express publishes the precarious multi-level marketing fiction as fact, but doesn't mention MLM. And let me get my mouse. Okay, is my mouse going to go funkadelic? Okay. So there you have it, the Express newspaper. Side hustle, single moms make 2,600 pounds a month from the comfort of her home. Personal finance, finexpress.uk.company UK, whatever. The article linked above, and that's this, appeared in the personal finance section of the Express online, January 13th, 2024. It has only recently been brought to my attention. And it's written by, and I'm so sorry, I'm probably not going to have her name correct. Timmy Laley. So I'll just say Timmy. And again, you like fire? Okay, I'll put on the fire. Thank you for letting me know. I aim to please. So we'll go back to the fire. There you go. There you go. You got the fire. Okay, you guys love the fire. Okay. Got it. Got it. You love the fire. The article has obviously never been researched, and it's not clear what the actual motivation of Timmy, the journalist who signed it. Director General of the DSA, Susan Schofield, OBE, on BBC Radio, which I believe up here is this image, and I'm not sure if it is a YouTube video or not. I haven't listened to it. I could be wrong, but I suspect that Ms. I'm just going to say Timmy because I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that. Has been approached and groomed by Susan Schofield, Director General of the so-called UK Direct Selling Association, who is quoted in the article. Despite its official sounding label, this corporate structure is a privately controlled limited liability commercial company, a member of the US-based so-called World Federation of Direct Selling Associations. Whatever was Timmy's motivation, the article reports the oh my gosh, I cannot talk. Whatever that word is, I'm sorry, I cannot say it right now. MLM fiction as fact, highly misleading, carefully scripted anecdotal statements made by a 43-year-old British woman, Kelly Quick, who has been under contract with a UK-registered so-called multi-level marketing company known as Juice Plus. Company UK Limited. And just so you know, I have done a little bit looking into Juice Plus. And whenever I talk about business from home and Teddy Boy was part of Juice Plus. And I think his wife, Deanie, she was too, but she was also part of Vima, which was shut down for being a pyramid scheme. And that's where Alex Morton came from. Take it or leave it, MLM contracts invariably have clauses which prevent their signatories from making unapproved statements to the media. Thus, Kelly Quick has been programmed to tell a totally positive utopian story of how she freed herself from employed by the so-called UK DSA is a different case. She recites essentially the same utopian script, but she has been previously trained in transparent marketing techniques, and these are what she is employing. Susan Schofield's reputation, as well as her salary, currently depends on maintaining the big MLM lie, but evidently she knows enough not to use the controversial term MLM. The Express article is tailored to fit the instinctual desires of women. It's signed by a woman, and it only includes quotes from two women who are portrayed as empowered and wanting to empower other women. However, if either Kelly Quick or Susanna Schofield, were asked to ask the right common sense questions, they would be revealed as powerless fakes playing a Pernericus. I cannot pronounce that damn word today, and I have before, so whatever that word is, game of make-believe. We'll just go with that. Their role has been to try to lure others into playing the same game. Sadly, to date, there has never been a journalist in the UK with enough insight to keep asking the right questions about the MLM cult phenomenon. MLM, the American Dream Nightmare, Juice Plus, O.J. Simpson, Bear Grylls, and Theresa May, their connection with Amway, copycat MLM racket known as Juice Plus, written by, David. The Juice Plus Company UK Limited is a subsidiary of a controversial American-owned multinational corporation. As explained in my previous article in the past, Juice Plus was fronted in the USA by none other than O.J. Simpson, who has recently been in the news due to his sudden death. That is, until O.J. Simpson found himself compelled to break his own employment contract and to tell the truth about his fraudulent paid activities on behalf of the wealthy bosses of Juice Plus. Weeding out Juice Plus illegal health claims, truth in advertising. Had Timmy applied her critical faculties, the briefest research would have revealed that Juice Plus has faced varied civil regulatory investigations, prosecutions around the world because what the American bosses of Juice Plus have actually been peddling is quite obviously a poisonous cocktail of medicinal and financial quackery designed to exploit the vulnerable and financially illiterate. And there's Kelly Quick right there with Juice Plus. Sadly, in the Express article, Kelly Quick is pictured with her young daughter. She claims to have been earning as much as £2,600 per month and to have been able to give up her traditional employment and spend time with her daughter as a result of becoming an independent direct seller with Juice Plus. Tellingly, the article does not specify whether Ms. Quick's income claims represent a net income after deducting all previous operating expenses or gross income before deducting all previous operating expenses. Indeed, the journalist who signed this uncritical piece will not have seen and will not have asked to see any quantifiable evidence in the form of income tax payment receipts demonstrating the reality of Ms. Quick's financial situation with regard to Juice Plus. The Express article completely fails to explain that Juice Plus offers a so-called multi-level income opportunity. Tellingly, so-called MLM has never been described by those peddling it as a net income opportunity. The Express article merely describes Kelly Quick's activity as direct selling. However, it is generally accepted, even by trade regulators, that far less than 1% of MLM contractors generate a net profit each year, and this income doesn't come just from selling products. Due to the many built-in anti-commercial factors and inevitable operating expenses, in reality, it has been effectively impossible for the average participant to make an overall net profit lawfully by regularly retailing MLM products to members of the general public, i.e., persons who are not MLM contractors themselves, based on value and demand. Thus, so-called MLM companies have all offered commission payments to their contractors based on their contractors' own purchases of products and or services, and on the purchases of the recruits of their contractors, and on the purchases of the recruits of their recruits, etc., ad infinitum. Contractors' payments from so-called MLM companies have therefore really been based on finding further recruits to purchase the products and or services, not on genuine retail sales to members of the general public. Because you never ever hear anyone, if you happen to be in a coffee shop, you never hear two of your friends that you know are not involved in MLM go like, you know what? I really need to order me some more Juice Plus. I just love this, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. You know what? I actually need to order some more of this Amway product. You never hear those conversations. The only people who are speaking highly about the products are those who are peddling them. And that's it. That's it. That they want to try to make it seem like there is this customer base. And that's why they now have, what do they call it? preferred customers. Beachbody did that of Now Body. And you will drop rank if you don't maintain your rank to be a preferred customer so that they can then claim that, look, there are customers who just love the product. No, they're working their butts off trying to recruit people so that they can then rank up again and then try to maintain their rank. And oops, they lose it again and they lost anybody that they had as customers to the person above them. Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity to me. Okay, moving on. In order to lure further unwary recruits into handing over their cash in return for an effectively unsaleable investment commodity, MLM contractors need to pretend to have been earning money and to hide their true financial situation, which makes me think of Shanann Watts. Because before her husband took her life and the life of her two children, they were close to filing bankruptcy yet again, which they had filed 4 years previously, and losing their home. And there's many people in MLM who lose their homes, lose their relationships. And there are people that self-harm due to being a part of MLM. And you're right, Beth. Yes, from their illegal medical claims. Yep, they do make a lot of those. Indeed, MLM contractors are actually indoctrinated to ignore, the reality of their situation as negative thinking and to duplicate a step-by-step positive mindset plan to achieve success. What these so-called positive mindset plans actually comprise have been what are technically defined as totalistic thought reform programs. In everyday terms, MLM contractors like Ms. Quick have been programmed to commit themselves to and robotically to execute the exploitative, non-rational, pseudo-economic theory that endless chain recruitment plus endless payments by the recruits equal endless profits for the recruits. They have been further tricked into believing that they are independent business owners and that any financial losses they incurred must have been entirely their own fault. Absolutely agree 100% with that. And excuse me for a minute, I am having some groceries delivered. So when they come, I will have to pull them inside. And let me check my message. Just a second. So carry on, talks amongst yourselves. Okay, all of my items were in stock. Okay, that's a good thing to hear. Okay. All right. Consequently, so-called MLM companies have all set no common sense limits on the number of contractors being recruited and have never published in an easy to understand format the overall net loss churn rates of their contractors. Imagine if the McDonald's company set no common sense limits on the number of restaurant franchises it sold or common sense restrictions on the sites where these restaurants were located. How would any of the vast concentration of franchisees expect to keep finding enough real customers to make an overall net profit? And right now, there's a lot of fast food chains that are closing due to the economic factors that we're all seeing right now, everything's skyrocketing. In simple terms, and that also worries me about people then turning to MLMs thinking they will then believe in that because they've lost faith in everything else and be like, oh, maybe I should, do Monat because I can be a business owner. I can sell this and make lots of money. No, don't do that. Don't join any of these things. Please, you'll regret it. In simple terms, so-called MLM companies like Juice Plus, which have claimed 14,000 contractors in the UK, have all been essentially identical corporate fronts hiding in plain sight whilst peddling a financially suicidal, insidious form of self-perpetuating blame the victim pyramid fraud. And then he points out Robert's book and links it to the Kindle store. And I have been reading that to you. The extraordinary history of the big MLM lie can be found in Posinomics. As to the latter part of the Express article, which includes ludicrous and outrageous false average MLM earnings claims, £833 per month, from Susanna Schofield's so-called UK Direct Selling Association, laughably, without employing the increasingly controversial term MLM, Ms. Schofield is quoted reciting elements of the I still can't say that damn word, MLM fairy tale, but she is a subsidiary of a US-based multinational corporation. The main Herbalife company recently was obliged to hand over $200 million to the U.S. Federal Trade Commission in order to settle an outstanding civil prosecution in which the company was accused of fronting a pyramid scheme. Around 350,000 compensation checks were then issued by the FTC to recent American victims of Herbalife. This MLM front company is now supposedly reformed and operating under independent regulatory surveillance, but only in the USA. Herbalife is one of several MLM front companies that has never faced the slightest regulatory investigation in the UK. The UK press has been equally absent. Another UK DSA member that Ms. Schofield failed to mention has been Amway UK Limited. This company, again, a subsidiary of the US-based multinational corporation, mysteriously survived a public interest civil bankruptcy petition filed by the UK Consumer Affairs Minister in 2007. The government investigation discovered that between 1973 and 2006, around 1 million UK and Irish citizens were churned through Amway's so-called MLM income opportunity, in private. UK regulators described Amway to me as operating like the Ku Klux Klan in the 1920s. Amway India Enterprises has been recently charged by the Indian Enforcement Directorate, with being the corporate front for a pyramid scheme preying on millions of financially illiterate Indian citizens, as well as being a front for $7 billion international money laundering racket. Around 200 million of Amway India Enterprises assets have already been seized by the Enforcement Directorate. Another UK DSA member, which Ms. Schofield again failed to mention, has been TENS UK. Oh, I have looked into that. I can't remember, but I think I did a video on them. I don't remember. I really think I did a video on it, but I can't remember. This is a subsidiary of the world's largest MLM cult, which is Chinese-based. Yet infinite-level product-based pyramid schemes peddled as MLM income opportunities are specifically identified as being intrinsically fraudulent and banned by law in China. TENS has lately claimed 40 million adherents, and it has even been suggested that it could be a corporate front for Chinese intelligence agencies. The so-called UK DSA has lately claimed 630,000 UK and Irish citizens under contract to its member companies. More than 95% are women. However, this figure is just a misleading snapshot because at least 50% of MLM contractors are known to not renew their annual contracts. In some official investigations, like that of Herbalife in the USA, the hidden annual MLM net loss churn rate has not been discovered to exceed 90%. This means that in the UK and Ireland, at least 350,000 unwary people are being quietly churned through these reality-controlling so-called MLM income opportunities each year, or 3.15 million per decade. However, this figure is a conservative estimate. Worldwide, more than 130 million persons have lately been claimed as contractors of DSA member companies, but not all MLM front companies have been DSA members. This means that at least 65 million persons are being churned through these dissimulated cultic rackets each year, or 650 millions per decade. The true figure could easily be in excess of 1 billion per decade. Hey, Joe, how are you doing? Thus, the Express article in its entirety is dangerous drivel, utopian propaganda that has been fed to that. What was her name again? Timmy. Oh, yeah, I was calling her Timmy. By the agents of foreign-based cultic racketeers. Indeed, the Express article can actually be used to lure unworried persons into de facto servitude and eventually prevent them from facing reality and complaining to law enforcement agents, investigative journalists, legislators, etc. And that is the overall problem worldwide, is people, not enough people complaining to their local law enforcement, to regulators, to journalists, to their legislators. The more people complain beyond people like myself and people like Queen, who cover MLMs, and a whole lot of other people on YouTube who also do the same, like Always Marco, or like what is Roberta's podcast? Life After MLM. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's Life After MLM. And she, does a lot of victim stories. I've done a lot of victim stories. I mean, a lot of people have done victim stories. And Jean-Marie, who did the podcast The Dream, which was fantastic, and then wrote a book. I mean, there are people who are talking about it, but there needs to be more that are going to legislators, going to journalists and complaining, going to news organizations and complaining, and not enough people are. But I know that I have heard from people who have been covering MLMs for many years, longer than I have, definitely. And I'm talking about like Doug Brooks, Robert, and David, that whole gang and everything. They've never seen this many people at the grassroots level speaking out against this. Hang on just a second. Okay, so my delivery will be here shortly. The dogs may start making noise. Oh, also I have, I'm charging my spinal stimulator. So if you guys hear a really weird noise, that's going to be because I fully charged and I'll need to take it off of me. But when the groceries get here, I will need to go and bring them inside at the very least. I don't think I have anything frozen, so things can kind of like hang out for a bit. Do you guys, would you like me to read the actual article that is up here at the top that David referenced to begin with, what the Express put out? Would you like me to read that? If so, let me know. And you're right. Yep, they are connected to government agencies and lobbyists and all of that. And that's what also makes it hard for us going there and saying something to them, is because, the lobbyists are kind of like, paying them and shit. Okay, I got it. Okay, please, like you guys would like to hear that. Okay, good. And just plopped right on over. Yay. Close that. Okay. I'm a single mom who ditched my full-time job, and now I make 2,600 pounds a month from home. Exclusive as the cost of living crisis. Okay, this is what is pissing me off. This is what is pissing me off and that I am worried about. The cost of living, using that, continues to grapple families across the UK. One single mother has explained how she makes additional income to help her afford monthly increases. By Timmy, senior personal finance reporter with 3 years of experience, specializing in the changes in mortgage and interest rates, benefits, side hustle success, and personal scam stories. Okay. Kelly Quick is a full-time independent direct seller and makes around 2,600 pounds a month. The 43-year-old started direct selling in November 2020 as a side hustle to top up her main income from her call center job. After a couple of years, the income from direct selling was so successful that it allowed her to reduce the hours she was doing. Now, we all know that most people do not experience any kind of success within a couple of years. And those who do are usually handed a downline. They're given something, they're given some sort of advantage because there are backroom deals. And I have discussed that on my channel with Robert, who has had experience with that. And I believe he brings it up in his book too, which I will find that in his book and share that with you probably at another time. But backroom deals are common, but they want people to think that you can get to the top. It's all planned in advance before it ever even bursts on the scene. That's what's so frightening. Is it's not like, I'm just going to go out tomorrow and be like, hey, I'm starting me an MLM. No, there is a lot of forethought that goes into it. The Sheffield Group will even help you create your own MLM. I know they did for Beachbody and a lot of other, now Body, a lot of very other popular ones. By January 2020, she stopped this completely and direct selling became her sole income. Yay. That's very misleading. I was earning enough to support my family, she said. Sure you were. Sure you were. Kelly sells Juice Plus products, a range of plant-based nutritional supplements. She started using the Juice Plus products to support her own health and well-being when she joined Juice Plus as an independent contractor. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not in there. And Juice Plus is an MLM. Oh, that's also not in there. And it's also very deceptive. Oh, that's not in there. Okay. Oh, sorry. After seeing the positive changes in her life, well, she thought she saw them, her friends and family wanted to share the benefits, so she started to sell the products to them. And that's how she built her confidence for the side hustle. I don't believe that for one stinking minute, because we have all, those of us who have been in this, we have seen exactly how much our friends and family are like, ah, yes, give me that Cincy. Yes, give me that beach. But no, that doesn't happen. I mean, you may get a couple that feel sorry for you and they will do it, but they don't stick with it because hello, why would they? They know what's up. And at the time you're just deluded and you're believing all the bullshit the MLM is telling you. Okay. Kelly said, as a single parent, the additional income is really helpful. It all came at the time when the impact of the rising cost of living was taking hold, so it helped me afford those monthly increases. On average, I earn between 1,700 pounds and 2,600 pounds a month. After I had my daughter, I changed my line of work and chose a job working in a call center that was less pressured and less money, but allowed me to work around my family life better. But the downside was that I went from having an amazing disposable income to not having this, which I found hard. Now with direct selling, I can earn good money and work it all around my daughter. Since becoming a single parent, my goal has been to become financially independent. My work in direct selling is enabling me to do that. And now my goal is to plan for my daughter and I guess my future. I want to get a mortgage for us and start pension planning. Is the 1K side hustle tax? Okay, I'm not going to get involved in that. Direct selling is so flexible, so people can do bits of work in the pockets of time. Oh, good God. Do you know, I remember hearing about that. It's like basically when you are at your job and you go pee, take your phone with you because you can contact somebody while you're peeing. I mean, literally. I heard that shit. And it's like pockets of time. Pockets of time, seriously? You love the voice? Oh, I'm glad you like the voice.
For example, when Kelly's daughter is in her drama class, she can be making a sale. She tries to do her work first thing in the thing before her daughter wakes up, and then during work school hours and past bedtime. You know what she's trying to do? She's trying to recruit more people, and she's trying to convince the people that she's recruited not to leave and to just keep trying and trying and trying and to keep spending and spending and spending. If she actually does have a downline, which, I'm not saying that she does or she doesn't, but I'm just saying I don't believe any of this bullshit. She concluded being a single parent comes with financial pressure. But I know with direct selling, you earn what you put in, and I love what I do. I love being a criminal. That's what I love. I love to extort people. It's so much fun. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't in this, was it? Oh, I'm sorry. It was by Thought Bubble. Did I say that out loud? I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize for this. I am earning money talking about products I love. I am in control of the hours I put into this, and it fits seamlessly into my life. So I would definitely recommend this work to others. Yep, just lure the bitches right on in, going, yeah, join any of them. But you know what? It'd be great if you actually joined under me, because you know what that would do? Oh, that would help me out. I'd earn from you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My inside voice just keeps on popping out. I am so sorry about that. Oh, I just can't help it. New data from retail trade body, the Direct Selling Associate, has shown a significant increase in the average earnings being made by UK's army of side hustlers working for brands such as Avon and Summers and the Body Shop. In 2021, those working in direct selling earned an average, oh, fuck me, 481 pounds per month. Whereas new data shows that in 2023, the figure has increased to 833 pounds. It is thought to be the largest jump in earnings in the sector in over a decade. Suzanne Schofield, OBE director of the Direct Selling Association, said increasingly people are opting for this style of earning as a way to generate a more significant income, but on a highly flexible basis, with significant numbers of people joining since the start of the cost of living crisis. Oh, COL. We don't want to say cost of living crisis. So, and that's exactly what I'm afraid people, do. That is what has happened. A new generation of driven career women are professionalizing direct selling, building successful micro businesses on terms that work for them, whether that be around children or other commitments and interests. As the cost of living continues to rise, direct selling is proving to be a key option for individuals taking control of their financial future in a flexible way that works for them. Bullshit, 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 and nothing but bullshit. Do you guys agree with me that that was just a bunch of bullshit? My groceries are here, and I tell them not to. It's okay. I tell them not to knock because of chalupa, but somebody knocked. So I will. It's okay. It's okay, Salsa. Okay. Give me a moment. Let me put up the little scrolling thing that says I'll be right back. Okay, I'm not parched. I'm actually, getting my groceries. And you guys can hear poor little Miss Salsa giving it her all. And I'll be right back. Salsa, you're not going out there, my love. Sorry, baby girl. You are not going out there. Because you will run down them stairs
And you're way quicker than I am. No, ma'am. 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 Okay, groceries have been brought inside. So yay. And now let me get comfy again. Oh, you know what else? The second half this season of Bridgerton dropped this week. It dropped on Thursday and I've watched it all. It was a fabulous season. I do hope another season is coming because it really looked like it could have concluded. And I really am hoping it didn't. Because that is just such a lovely show to watch. Okay. All right. Now, I know the Bubby Wumpkin children serenaded you both. Or they both serenaded you, I should say. And they calmed down pretty quick, though. But Salsa, I'm telling you, if I would have let her out there, good gravy, that little girl would take off and go running. Because that's what she does sometimes. And like she's aware that somebody is somewhere and I'm not, because I don't have dog ears. I know that is really, shocking that I don't have dog ears. But yeah. And then I'd have to go run after her. And, we don't need that, right? We really don't need that at all, do we? Oh, goodness. Okay. So how are we doing, everyone? Hey, Alps, how are you? Yeah. Yep, the children were going at it. I do not, no, I don't want a Mastiff or a German Shepherd, but thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So did you guys, what did you think of that article? I mean, and it bothers me greatly that a journalist who covers finance, of all things, wrote this. It's like, what? Were you paid to write this? Did you only talk to, the DSA, basically, the UK version of the DSA or whatever it's called over there? And only talk to one person who's involved in Juice Plus to conclude like, oh, this is a great thing. This is fantabulous. Because that's not what I call investigative journalism at all.
And David is dead on what he said. It doesn't take much to find out all the warts that surround Juice Plus. It's really fucking easy. You're out and about, and I just overheard someone talking about how their friend tried to recruit. Oh my gosh, Jelly! Oh my gosh! Oh, yeah, okay. But you did not hear somebody go like, oh yeah, I totally have to get me some more Herbalife. Oh yeah, I've got to order myself some, what is it? Oh, some LuLaRoe. I just love those leggings. You have not heard that kind of shit, right? No, because who buys that shit? The people who joined it. That's who. That's who joined. That's the customer. But they try to cover it up like, oh, yeah, we really do. People seek our products. No, they don't. They don't go running around and going like, I can't wait to get some more MLM products in my life. They do not fucking do that. What they actually do is like run away from people who are trying to shill that shit to them. That's what happens, right? The Shakeology. Oh my gosh, you've been watching Bomb Party TikToks. I have done a number of Bomb Party videos. I think it was Young Living. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That, got to get those oils and make sure that you put 3 drops in everything you consume. Not really. No, do not consume those essential oils. Please do not do that. Please. Oh my gosh. But I really am concerned with the cost of living increases, which, I mean, we've all felt that, right? I mean, I felt it today with stuff that I'm, getting at the grocery store, even though I'm having it delivered here because I don't have a car and it's too hot for me to walk over there. So I have it delivered and I'm like, oh my gosh, this went up. And, so all of these things add up. I just dropped my Uber One account because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be spending that money. And I'm looking at places of what else do I don't really need. That's nice to have. Yeah. I kind of like that, but am I really using it? Do I really need it? It's like, no. I was sad to see my hairdresser say she is, oh my God, trying thieves to clean her house. Oh my gosh. Oh, and you know what? Here's the thing. You can't use like the essential oil of like lemon or whatever and mix it with stuff and not Young Living, but you can go to Whole Foods or somewhere and you can get some shit yourself. Not associated with MLM. It's going to be cheaper and it's probably going to be a lot better too. So no, that just makes my heart sink hearing that. But thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. So, all right. So we have another article that David followed up and he published this on Thursday. Would you guys like to hear it? And let me grab Ponzinomics also. Joe, you have to say Shakeology, don't you? You just have to say it. Love ya. Salsa, I don't know what you're doing over here because I'm not reaching down to pick your little butt up. You can go to the stairs. I have stairs for my Bubby Wumpkins because I'm concerned about their. Oh, do you guys hear this? You hear that? I now know that my charge is charged. I have finished charging. So let me take this off. So this is going to give me a moment to do this and put it back where it needs to go and off of me. Okay. And now I'm going to check my charge. So give me a minute because I have to get. Oh, wait, no. That means it's looking for the connection on me. Okay. So it was a false one. Okay, Hershey Boy, how much is Amazon Fresh? Because I saw that you could get like the first 3 deliveries free, but what does it cost to have it delivered after that?
And I also did see now Grubhub is part of, like the Amazon Prime thing. And I have enjoyed getting some stuff, delivered here. And I do see that oftentimes it's not the same restaurants that deliver on Grubhub and on Uber Eats. But, let me know what that breakdown is because I'm curious. I'm very curious about that. Okay, let me see where this is in Ponzinomics. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, so the next part of Ponzinomics is, oh, you guys will like this. You guys will like this because it's Secrets of the Pyramid, Secrets Ancient and Modern, the Saturation Secret, staying one ahead of attrition. And it's pretty short. So, and then it goes into the lore of legality, conning the court, imaginary retail fabricated rules. I just love this. So I think I can work that in too. Yeah, there's a tip involved. Okay. Okay, so well, that's what I was paying $9.99 for Uber Eats. Okay, $9.99 a month for the free delivery for orders over $35. Okay, so then if I get something over $35, then it's like a free delivery type thing, but I'm only paying $9.99 a month and then a tip, right? Otherwise, it's $135 before free delivery. I think there's otherwise a sliding cost from $35 to $135. So I could pay. So I could get orders, small orders for $35 up to $135. Is that like what I'm reading into that? Because I'm curious. And I don't think you're strange at all. I mean, I'm all for for convenience. And I don't mind paying for some convenience things. But if I'm already getting stuff like through Amazon, why would I then use it with a different provider? If I can, I'm going to sneeze. Good Lord, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, it's not coming. Oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. You didn't get a notification? Damn it. Okay, yes, it has to be above. Oh, I can do that easily. I can easily be above 35. I mean, yeah, totally. Thank you, Insolent Violet. Thank you. My husband always laughs at me because when I'm about to sneeze, I will like shake my hands. And a lot of times that will just like make the sneeze go away. And he just thinks I'm so weird for doing that because I don't especially enjoy sneezing. And I just shake my hands and it just goes away. And I also typically sneeze a very dainty little sneeze. Exactly. I don't always have the strength or energy to go to the store, right? Yep, I'm with you. And we both have chronic pain, and that's for me too. And that's why also I'll get some of their like prepared meal things because it is too painful for me to stand and cook anymore, unfortunately. Yes, it's dainty. Oh, thank you. Right, Joe? What shopping order is under 35? Yep. And, I'm with you with your back, with my back, with my neck. Forget it. Yeah. I'm willing to go ahead and pay for that convenience because otherwise I will be paying for it more physically. And I really don't need to do that to myself. But, I'm this journalist who wrote this. I'm very disappointed in them. Oh my gosh. So this is great. So there is somebody who did right on there. You mean like a pyramid scheme, but with products to make them look legitimate businesses? Yeah, it's still a pyramid scheme and they're illegal. Unfortunately, the government doesn't care and won't do anything about them. Wow. And I love this. And somebody else said, why is a second job suddenly a side hustle? I like that too. I'm so sick of influencers. I'm so fucking over that shit. And I'm so over the generation wars. I mean, it's like, you know what? I don't care. I never have cared. I don't give a shit. I take care of my stuff, and that's all I know. And I think a lot of people are out there just whining about shit just to be whining. And I know the job market isn't great, but let me tell you, I did a whole lot of shit when I was younger that wasn't great for me either. You know, I flipped burgers at one point. I had a business like literally closed down as I was a manager of a showroom for interior designers. I mean, there's like all kinds of stuff that I've been through, not to mention all the different crises I've been through over my lifetime. So I really get kind of tired of hearing people go off about that. And you know what else is pissing me off too? Because my husband told me about this. Because I saw this in a video the other day where they were talking about young women now don't want men to give them flowers. They're like offended by that. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Getting some flowers is a nice gesture. You're offended by getting flowers? And then my husband's like, yeah, they're offended if you open the door for them. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Good Lord. I mean, you're offended that somebody's opening the door for you. I open the door for you if you're male or female. I don't give a shit what you are. You know, I'll open the door for you. And I can remember myself when I was an art student lugging an enormous portfolio around and all my supplies, going into very large buildings with, you know, doors and the elevators and all of this stuff. And nobody would hold open anything for me. And you know what? I learned to do some really interesting moves and take care of my damn self. And I didn't fucking depend on anybody else. Oh my gosh. Hershey says I get doors open for me if I'm braless. Don't take kids to a splash pad. Oh, I wouldn't. You had the same job for 31 years. Good for you. Good for you. I'm hearing children involved, which boils my blood. I hate the phrase side hustle too. I think it's stupid. You know, there's so many things that I think going on right now is just stupid. I think there's a lot of there's conspicuous consumption. People trying to look like they're all that when they're not, but they're trying to look wealthy. And the thing is, those people who actually have money, they're not running around flaunting it everywhere. You know, that's the fun thing, unless you're an influencer being paid to like put all that fancy shit on. I mean, I don't give a flying rat's ass. I just don't. But they want you to think, oh, you got to have these things. No, you don't. You don't. Okay. So the next one is David's follow-up. Are we ready now for the follow-up? You think we're ready for that, to hear all about it? Okay, here we go. And I will take myself off the screen. Oh, I am off the screen. Okay, yay. I'm off the screen already. Okay. The Independent Press Standards Organization so far refuses to challenge the big MLM lie. Okay. Got to get my drink, which is iced tea. Regular readers will recall that back in April, I posted an article entitled "The Express Publishes the Pernicious," is that how, did I say it right? Did I get it? Multi-level marketing fiction as fact, but doesn't mention MLM. And I just read that to you. I explained that an article signed by a journalist, Timmy, had appeared in the personal finance section of the Express Online, January 13th, 2024. But it had only recently been brought to my attention. And again, a link to that article that I just read to you in my fabulous little new voice. The Express article was a classic example of the big multi-level marketing lie being reported as the truth.
Some of the vague, unsubstantiated, quoted claims that were prominently featured in the article were so outrageous and obviously false that it beggars belief that any journalist working in the area of finance could swallow them, but apparently Timmy did. And that's what I find fucking shocking. A woman who was a journalist believed pernicious. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to listen to how that word is pronounced because I am just not saying it right. Anyway, I will just skip over it. And you guys know I don't mind making a fool out of myself and like mispronouncing words. Will full up admit when I can't say something correctly. It's not that hard to like be like, yep, don't know it, can't say it, have a problem with it. But little Timmy did. I also explained why the Express article could never have been researched absolutely 10,000%, and that it was not clear what was the actual motivation of Timmy. However, at the time, I did not explain how I attempted to contact Timmy, as well as the editor of the personal finance section of the Express with my concerns. However, neither of them replied to emails. I am shocked. And that is something that happens frequently. As a consequence, I contacted the Independent Press Standards Organization, and it's ipso.co.uk, organization home, okay, but without any serious expectation that this would result in the Express article being withdrawn or rectified. Thus, it was clearly explained that my initial email to IPSO, how the Express article was specifically constructed to pretend affinity with women and thus facilitate an insidious criminal fraud that has been designed to spread like a virus, and which has lately been mainly preying on hundreds of thousands of vulnerable and ill-informed women in the UK. However, the staff at IPSO, of whom there are only 20, were apparently so snowed under with work that they initially reacted to my accurate information and analysis by requesting that I reduce the size of my complaint and merely set out what I considered the Express article to be in breach of IPSO's own editor's code of conduct. And he links to that. This week, I finally received a lengthy email from IPSO signed by Assessment Officer Natalie Johnson. In this, behind a barrage of convoluted verbal gymnastics, Natalie Johnson informed me that IPSO has decided to reject my complaint. As far as I could ascertain, this was essentially on the grounds that the Express article was not in breach, of IPSO's editor's code of practice, because although the claims made in it might very well have been inaccurate, nevertheless, they were an accurate report of what the journalist had been told. And as such, this type of lazy reporting is permitted. Quite obviously, this intellectually feeble and morally relativist interpretation of IPSO's editor's code of practice makes a mockery of it, because if the bar for press standards has been set so low, then what the hell is the point of having them? In simple terms, IPSO's position is that it can be accepted for the UK media to publish or broadcast falsehoods without any attempt to discover the truth, provided the falsehoods come from third parties and are accurately quoted word for word. Thus, after a further formulaic email from Natalie Johnson, which concluded the classic Orwellian phrase, we are unable at this stage to enter into correspondence offering reasoning beyond that included in the original decision, I sent the following email. Natalie,
Contrary to what you write, based on the accurate information and analysis that I sent you, the choice you people had before you here was extremely simple. Either you stand against fraud for the rule of law, or you don't. Tellingly, you are clinging to your editor's code and making absolutely no reference to the guts of the insidious criminal activity I flagged to your organization, or to the very real danger that misleading articles like the one in the Express pose to our fellow citizens. The article in the Express was quite obviously designed to facilitate a fraud that has been mainly preying on women in the UK. This was why the article was very specifically constructed to pretend affinity with women. It was signed by a woman and contained quotes from two other women, one of whom was pictured with her infant daughter. Geez. Sadly, I can only conclude from your guarded replies that any expectation on my part that anyone in a position of authority in your organization might do the right thing is pointless. That said, I would still like to know what would be your personal reaction if someone you cared about, sister or daughter, came to you and declared that she signed up with a so-called MLM direct selling company. Misleading articles like the one in the Express are not only designed to lure vulnerable and ill-informed women in de facto servitude, they have also been designed to persuade victims that companies like Juice Plus cannot possibly be the fronts for frauds. This is part of the reason why MLM victims rarely come forward. Sincerely, David Brear. And I will read this. This is free from MLM. Well done, David. It's about time that news outlets in the UK and also UK government agencies learn that this continued condoning of the big MLM lie is not protecting the people. It's time the truth that these fraudulent organizations is exposed and dealt with appropriately. I've sent a recent improvement at Action Fraud with their inclusion of work from home scams, but they are still not doing enough to shut these rackets down. It would be so simple for them to test these organizations against the Fraud Act of 2006 and even the Serious Crime Act of 2015 and organized crime group under Section 45 of the Serious Crime Act of 2015. It's sad that a handful of anti-MLM activists have to point out to government how to do their jobs. One could almost believe that the government is somehow benefiting from these organizations, but surely that can't be the case. And then David replies, thanks. I've recently been talking to yet another Action Fraud. I pointed out that although there is now the inclusion of business opportunity fraud on the types of fraud web pages, no business opportunity fraud has ever been criminally prosecuted in the UK. Not surprisingly, Action Fraud's warning about business opportunity fraud is pretty basic. Business opportunity fraud involves an offer to become financially independent or to generate extra income by setting up your own business. A letter, advert, or website asks if you are interested in making easy money by working from home or setting up your own online business. The scheme allows you to choose when you work and enables you to fit your work around your other responsibilities. The work itself could involve filling envelopes, assembling products, or selling goods or services through your own website. However, any products or services you're asked to sell are worthless and you won't be able to sell them. You have to pay money up front to register with the scheme, buy customer leads, set up your website, buy products to sell on, or receive an instruction manual on how to run your business. If you're asked to assemble goods or fill envelopes, the fraudsters will find fault with your work and use it as a reason for not paying you. Many of these schemes are straightforward pyramid schemes where you will not only earn money by introducing other people to it, for example, by selling copies of the instruction manual. What's the point of Action Fraud warning about business opportunity fraud when it's been openly permitted in Britain? Starting in the USA, with the authorities in almost every company have failed to grasp is that by refusing to identify accurately the big lie, the big MLM lie, they have effectively authorized fraud. Whilst this situation persists, the action fraud page, which attempts to identify business opportunity fraud, is pretty pointless. And you're right. You are absolutely right with this. YouTubers working for free do more fact checking than paid journalists. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. I would agree with that. 10,000%. Okay. I got myself a new, whatever these things are, insulated thermos cup thing, because the other one I had was like leaking, and I loved it because it was from the rodeo. But you know what? I like that this doesn't leak and it keeps it cold. I like that a lot better. So now I'm going to turn over to Ponzinomics and read to you Secrets of the Pyramid. Because I think everything written in this book is very important for people to hear. And I think, and I hope that some of the passive founders may actually listen to some of this, because it would do them it would do them a lot of good. Or other people who are involved in MLM, it would do them a lot of good too. They obviously don't have to go out and buy the book. They can. I even have it on my little Amazon website, my Amazon shop, I should say, which is, I think, in the description. Oh, you like the scarf? Thank you very much. I get this from Unique Vintage, is an online shop, because I like to wear vintage type clothing. But I'm wearing actually, I do have a shirt on. It looks like I'm not wearing a shirt. Just a little camisole because it's hot here in Texas. So gosh, I feel like I need to show that I have straps on so that people don't think like, oh, she's shirtless. And I have a shirt on, and it's gotten a little large on me. Okay, and I have my little, what do you call these things? Insulated thermos? Is this what they're called? Because I know there's all those weird people that are running around about the Stanley Cup. I mean, I think that obsession is completely ridiculous. I mean, it's, you know what? If I were a parent and had a kid that was in, I don't know, second, third grade, and they were all whining about Stanley Cups and making fun of you unless you had a Stanley Cup, I'd be marching my ass into that classroom and giving all of the class a what for, and also all of the damn parents a what for egging all this shit on, because it is nothing but, again, conspicuous consumption. And there are some people who can't afford a $50, $60, $70, $80, thermos cup. And there's no shame in that. Fucking people. Sorry. That kind of stuff really pisses me off, is like when something becomes like explosively popular and people are going nuts over it. You do not need to follow the crowd in that kind of bullshit. You just don't. Same thing with, trends in clothing. Oh, you can't wear skinny jeans anymore because we don't like them. We not like these really super loose ones. And I look at those things, I'm like, that's just a trend. That shit's not going to stick around, so I ain't paying anything for them. No, I'll stick with some stuff that there's still boot cut out there, right? And still buy boot cuts. So, hey, I've got some. It did. I thought it did. That's why I was like, okay, I've got to show. I do have something on. Yeah, I got this one on Amazon too. And I think maybe it was 15 or 18 bucks. And I'm perfectly happy with it. My husband has Yetis, but he never paid for them. He went to some like wine thing, and the particular vineyard paid to have their vineyard name on them. And so he has them from that. And he's like, the next time I get one, I'll bring it to you. I'm like, great. I'm like, but for now, I was like, I'm good with this. The other one, I'm just letting you know, didn't work. It was just like, I mean, and I've got stuff to show. Can't stand those jeans. Oh my gosh, with the whole jeans. I'm like, now back in the day, I did wear some acid wash jeans. Who here wore acid wash jeans? Because I know if you're a Gen Xer, you fucking wore some acid wash jeans. I know you did, because I did. I did a lot of things. But, and for a long time, I kept those, and I could wear them still. I probably couldn't wear them now, but I was probably well into my 40s, and I could still wear those things. You had acid wash jeans? Yeah, I figured, yeah. And I just loved them. But that was, when I was a teen, when I was in my 20s. And I love them. I still think they look cool. I really do. But I'm not going to wear them anywhere because I'm just not. I mean, I have other things. And the ones that I have, it's back in the day when Victoria's Secret had Moda International. And I so miss those clothes because I still have like a bunch of dresses that are Moda. I'm keeping those fuckers because I can't. And I wish like some smaller pants that I had that were Moda that I got rid of. I wish I had kept those because I can't get them anymore. And they fit me so well. Now I mostly wear cotton knit bottoms. You know what I have? Because back in the day also, and this was back in my 30s and 40s, Old Navy every summer would have these really cool linen pants that you could tie in the front. And I would get those like every single summer because I'd wear them all the time. So I'd like wear them out. And now like I can't find them. So I found something kind of like them on Amazon. And I'm like, that will do. That will do. I'll wear those. But they're not really the same. So I'm hoping that maybe one day I do find like a replacement for what I used to wear because I loved those. And I don't care that I'm 60. I'm still going to wear those motherfuckers once I find them. My daughter tells me that jean styles have reached level 9 or out of fashion, anything goes. And you know what? That's the thing is, I mean, you know what? If you have just some t-shirts in your staple t-shirts, you're good. Staple jeans, you're good. I got myself a belt. It's a seat belt that has sugar skulls on it. I love that belt. And then I also got some that have, I don't know what you call them, but they almost like have rivets because I like that too. Because, back in my day when punk was all the rage, yeah, I'm like kind of leaning back into my days of punkness. And that's also why I like wearing, vintage type stuff because I did then. And I would dress up in vintage type stuff and just go like driving around with friends and shit. That's what I did for, oh my God, stirrup pants. Oh my God, I love stirrup pants. And I had 2 pairs of boots. They were those little like, you would like fold them over kind of boots. And they weren't like all the way up to your knee or anything. And I had this one boot and I used that thing as a hammer for years. But those things and they finally like literally like just fell apart. But I loved them. And I wore them all the time. And I'd wear them with these baggy ass shorts that I had. I mean, I wore those in grad school too. And for grad school when I was in my 30s. So I do say, wear what you like and fuck everyone else. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if somebody thinks like, oh my gosh, that's just not appropriate. I'm not judging you. Well, no, the only thing I will judge, and I will say this, is when girls are literally showing all the goods. And I have worn some things where, showing some nice cleavage. I've done that. But it's like, they're always like pulling up on stuff and then pulling down. And, it's like, but they hardly have any fabric on. And I think it's like, you know what? You could look a lot classier if you and you'd be more appealing, I think, to men or girls. I don't know. I'm just going to say men, like if you're straight, would find that more appealing that you are dressing a little bit by not putting everything out to the world. I'm a floral or black dress girl. Okay, me, red, gray, light gray and dark gray, black, white. Typically solids. Oh, and I will put on, because I do like it, and I've gotten compliments when I wear it, bright, shocking pink. I like that too. And also some kind of like paler pink. I do like pink. So I've grown into liking some pink. Hey there, Ketchup Crew. How you doing? Whoop, whoop to the Ketchup Crew. All right. So now we're at Secrets of the Pyramid. And I showed you guys that, this is what, because do you guys think I'd actually be able to like make up all this shit that I'm reading? Because I can't. But I do need to take my legs out from under the covers because I'm getting hot. Sorry, Chalupa Poopa. Sorry, my sweet boy. I just had him move. Oops. And then I kicked this over. Oh, okay. We're coming back. We're coming back. Okay, I'm moving this so people can see. I actually have a shirt on. I'm not sitting here all naked or anything. But even if I was, it wouldn't be anybody's business. And I do have on my very sexy salon paws. And very much no makeup. No makeup at all. But I take care of my skin. I take care of my skin. Okay. The ancient pyramids famously hold archaeological and architectural secrets related to their massive scale, near perfect symmetry, and mysterious alignment with stars. For answers, many people consider mystic knowledge, alien intervention, or supernatural powers over the planar explanations of mathematics, physics, and astronomy known and practiced by the priestly leaders. Alonda's OP page will be public next. Oh my God, OnlyFans. Oh, F. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah, as if. What is a genuine mystery, however, is exactly how the pyramids were viewed by the unnamed masses who built and paid for them. How were so many mobilized? How were the funds obtained for projects that aggregized so few at the expense of so many? Archaeologists say the public was led to believe the pyramids were monuments to sacred beliefs and that working on them would lead to divine rewards. Modern pyramid beliefs, Ponzi-nomics, have spread to many areas of finance and public life, such as housing speculation and unpayable debt. Yet, it is the institution of multi-level marketing that truly permeates American society, enrolling 1 in 6 American households every year and explicitly teaching Ponzi-nomics dogma. MLM is America's monument to Ponzi-nomics as the ancient pyramids were to the beliefs of that era. Okay, hang on a second. I've got to like rearrange myself here and get my heating pad back on because my back is starting to bother me. So excuse me for a moment. Oh, nope, that's too high. I have it at 120. I don't go past 120. Oh. Okay. There I am. Okay. Okay. Holding ceremonial spectacles in enormous stadiums and posing on stage as high priests possessing sacred secrets, MLM promoters tout their schemes as the fulfillment of the mythic American dream. They flaunt their own wealth as proof they can align the stars, so to speak, to deliver success and happiness to followers. They gain enormous wealth and near worship from awestruck followers who suffer financial loss, debt, and social alienation, building the MLM pyramids with their own money and free labor. Behind the MLM myth and the rituals, hidden from view are the mundane tools and techniques to create illusions for deceiving and dominating the MLM workers. Uncovering MLM's pyramid secrets requires piercing the symbolic facade in the same way archaeologists expose the math, physics, and astrology behind the mysterious pyramids that struck wonderment among people of their times and incite imaginations even today. In particular, two of the modern pyramid secrets that will now be revealed bear special notice. They are basic aspects of pyramid scheme architecture, well understood by designers Mittinger and Castleberry, yet for the millions who were enrolled, like the countless souls who built and paid for the ancient pyramids, remain obscured by diversions, deceptions, and magical beliefs. Hey, curious. Were you here before? Oh, yeah, you were. Okay, you're to catch up. Yeah, whoop, whoop. I gave you a whoop, whoop. The saturation secret. In a pyramid scheme, the marks are roped in with a pitch that seems true enough and entirely feasible. Surely you know 5 other people, and they will each know 5 others, right? Now you already have 30 on your team. Only if the math is continued does the plan show its absurdity. The last 30 will also have to gain 30 each in the same way, adding 900 new people. And those 900 will have to find 27,000, who will need 810,000. Very soon, those at the bottom will not find their own 30, maybe not even one. As Lee Mittinger privately explained to his future partner, William Castleberry, when they formulated the blueprint for the future MLMs, it would lead to everyone on Earth eventually selling for Neutralite. In Carl Rodenberg's biography, Mittinger described the plan's electrifying promise of an expanding chain transferring unlimited income each new recruiter as a joke. He knew full well that finding just 5 others who are actually interested and will pay is not sure at all. And if the 5 are found, their 5 others often turn out to be each other or their mutual friends. Long before oversaturation arrives, local and individual network saturation breaks the chain. The awe-inspiring vision of a pot of gold, money from an enormous pyramid of social connections, blinds people not only to the reality of saturation and chain breakage, but even to the funding source itself, their own money. All that is occurring is money being moved around inside the chain, a closed market. Virtually nothing is generated in the real open market. The MLM money transfer in the recruiting chain is equivalent to promising 10 people that if they each invest $10 in a common fund, each and every one of the 10 people could get the fund's total of $100. From Mittinger's perspective, the illusion of everyone on Earth signing up was just part of the inside story, the secret knowledge that the company would possess, and that the newly recruited salespeople, the target for revenue, would not know or understand. As Neutralite was rolled out with the new plan and began to draw in hundreds of thousands of hopeful adherents, its saturation secret would mesmerize and confound those being propositioned even as they lost money, and quite in vast numbers, and replaced by the recruits who experienced the same predetermined outcome, but also confused regulators who were asked to recognize inevitable saturation as the blatant red flag of the inherent deception of a pyramid scheme swindle. Staying one step ahead of attrition. Before the plan was enacted in late 1945, Neutralite continued to languish, leaving Carl Rodenberg with little bargaining leverage, yet still driven by his lifelong ambition to become rich and famous. When the contract was signed, Mittner and Castleberry, oh, that was the sound. You guys probably didn't hear it, but that was my battery pack saying, I'm fully charged. This is what it looks like so that you guys know. And I put it in this little belt thing. Now, what's weird about it is that, I know I'm breaking up where we were, but I have to take this off. I have to put it on me like this. So this part connects with what the thing is installed with me. But that means I have to fasten the belt like this. I cannot I will show you. Do it like this, because then it will not be connected. This open part will not be connected to what it needs to be up against, which drives me nuts all the time. It's like, why did you do it this way? This is completely the opposite way that it needs to be. Okay, and now back to the actual story. That was just a little side thing. So now you know what my spinal stimulator saga is all about. Oh, wait, got to show that I am actually wearing clothes. Okay. All right. When the contract was signed, Mittner and Castleberry, still working at the munitions factory, gained complete control over sales and marketing, the sector that controlled the company's and Rodenberg's future. With their pooled psychological persuasion methods and sales manipulation techniques, Mittner and Castleberry grasped that the endless chain plan would cause an explosion of signups. With insight into the plan's skyrocketing power and its outcome of massive losses for the recruits, Mittner also foresaw that the challenge facing the new pyramid selling company was not going to be a scenario of total market penetration. Rather, it was how to sustain the recruiting when the illusion of unlimited opportunity lost its mystique. And people discovered that virtually no one actually is making the promised money. The marketing challenge is to keep the expansion illusion vivid and commercially viable, and never to give away the pyramid secret that saturation prevented unending expansion. With this realization, Mittner understood that the only way company revenue growth could be ultimately sustained would be to keep opening new territories or to target new population sectors. He needed to go somewhere. The reality of loss rates was not yet known, and the illusion of unlimited expansion was still believed. The teams of sales canvassers Mittner had previously managed selling cemetery plots faced the local saturation scenario regularly. Their customers seldom needed more than one gravesite and funeral plan. This is why he and his sales teams were constantly traveling outside the local area. In the pyramid plan, local saturation and a growing local awareness of consumer losses continuously eroded the base, as if it were built on sand. Nutrilite, the first, and for several years the only multi-level marketing company, was able to forestall a saturation phase by moving sequentially to every state in the country, facing no competitor and therefore no advanced knowledge among consumers about how pyramid selling worked. By 1945, after an 8-year recruiting run, a decline had finally begun for the company. In the future, as more MLM companies were formed, this process would shorten in time. The plan was prompted as capable of expanding ad infinitum, but just 2.5 years after launching, Southern California was already becoming saturated with Nutrilite distributors, making further growth for the industrious new recruits very difficult. The question of saturation often is reduced to absurdity by asking whether a person could find even one new recruit presuming if just one more person could be recruited, that saturation and therefore the existence of the pyramid scheme is absent. In reality, as the experience of Nutrilite recruiters in saturated Southern California revealed, the challenge is not to find just one new person. To be successful, many, perhaps thousands, must be found, factoring a 50% or more annual dropout rate, or a dropout rate over 75% of the new recruits. The income proposition requires a vast population of prospects from each person. In the confusing debates and legal wrangling over saturation, it is often forgotten that wherever the industrious recruiters go, even to other countries, they will only benefit themselves at the cost of virtually all others they rope in, who will be doomed to financial loss. The saturation secret protects the pyramid's biggest secret. It causes harm the day it is launched. The percentage of losers is more or less fixed from the start. Ooh, free cinnamon rolls with your coffee. Oh my gosh, that sounds delightful. Now, the next part is the secret of growth. The Carl Rodenberg and Nutrilite story reports that on September 1st, 1945, Rodenberg signed the exclusive agreement with Mittinger and Castleberry that was drawn up in anticipation of rapid growth, addressing contingencies related to size and volume. The story does not explain why there would have been cause for anticipation of rapid growth, except to imply that all along it was just more effective sales management that had been needed for Nutrilite to suddenly become an exploding sales phenomenon. Even if the sales management factor were that important, the story does not account for why it would have been assumed that a former cemetery plot salesman who had not done sales work in 5 years and a psychology counselor with 2 part-time jobs warranted a presumption of stupendous success. The plan, the only new element in the business, is not referenced as the cause of the presumption of growth. Yet, as events quickly unfold, a monumental expansion in accordance with the plan's explosive mathematical design does indeed ignite. And I will tell you that I'll read Nutrilite's reported revenue from 1944 to 1958. In 44, 24,000, 45, 50,000, 46, 750,000, 47, 2,096,000, 48, 4,584,000, 49, 5,968,000, 1950, 9,740,000, 51, 10,567,000, 52, 12,425,000, 53, 16,319,000, 54, 25,222,000, 56, 26,514,000, 58 is where it drops, 19,145,000. Okay. Even if the sales management factor were not that important, the story does. Okay, I think I read it. I think I read that. Okay. The plan in theory could cause 40 agents to expand to a point where everyone on earth would eventually be selling the product, as Mittinger quoted. In fact, 40 agents worked for Nutrilite at the moment of signing on September 1st, 1945. In the first 8 months of 1945, prior to the contract signing and implementation of the plan, Nutrilite averaged monthly revenue of about $2,000, indicating a mean average sales volume per distributor of $50 per month in 1945 dollars. The highest estimated commission paid based on sales volume was 40%, or $20 per month on average, before deducting all expenses. The Nutrilite product offering had clearly never demonstrated much of an income opportunity for Rodenberg or for his 40 distributors. Suddenly, in the 4 months following the contract signing between Rodenberg and Mittinger, In Castleberry, revenues increased by more than $8,500 per month, resulting in the 1945 annual revenue more than doubling from the previous years to $50,000. But this was only a spark for the firestorm of expansion that followed. In growth data, the first 9 years of Nutrilite's explosive launch under the plan appeared to show powerful organic growth on a foundation of year after year success. In reality, Nutrilite was not growing in the sense most people understand how a large company develops by building a larger and larger base of loyal customers. Nutrilite's explosive increase in revenue merely reflected that pyramid recruiting was strongly outpacing the rate of quitting. In just 16 months, Mitger and Castleberry's plan catapulted Rodenberg's little business from monthly retail revenue of $2,000 to more than $60,000 per month. It did this without changing the lineup or the pricing of the company's products or carrying out a significant advertising program. And despite a scandal that engulfed the company starting in 1949, when it was prosecuted by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for making false health claims, Nutrilite sales just kept growing explosively. By 1950, sales reached 9.7 million, then 12.5 million in 1951, hitting 25.2 million in 1954. The expansion was unrelated to the product pricing or its sullied reputation. In the annuals of sales, this is the astonishing event, but especially so for those involved in labor-intensive door-to-door selling and the vitamin businesses. Predictably, the plan was quickly carbon copied with the similar amazing growth results for imitators. How or why becoming a Nutrilite distributor would suddenly become so appealing to so many is not addressed in the mythic account. Rodenberg's personal life blossomed with the business, and he quickly found a new wife, put his son back in private school, and bought a new house. An avoidance of the pyramid factor in explaining Nutrilite's overnight success is the likely reason Rodenberg's biography documents the growth figures of Nutrilite only up to 1954. In these first 9 years after implementing the plan, Nutrilite's revenue exploded to an astounding 50,000%. But court data from a government prosecution of Nutrilite showed that immediately after that period, Nutrilite's growth drastically slowed and then steeply declined. From 1952 to 1954, revenues went up more than 100%. But in the next 2 years, 54 to 56, revenue rose just 5%. In the next 2 years, 56 to 58, revenue declined 28%, wiping out the previous years of increases. The trend of decline continued at Nutrilite another 6 years to where revenue in 1964 was less than 1950. Factoring inflation, Nutrilite's reported retail revenue in 1964 was less than one-third what it had generated in 1956. When the company sold to Amway in 1972, factoring inflation, Nutrilite's reported retail revenues at the time were half of what it generated 18 years before. The revenue pattern of Nutrilite showing almost unheard of and inexplicable growth, followed by a similarly inexplicable steep decline, is known as a pop and drop, a universal phenomenon among multi-level marketing enterprises, and one of the telltale signs that MLM bears no resemblance to direct selling. What appears to be growth is an illusion. There is no underlying foundation of customers or sales force. The extreme pop and drop phenomenon is inherent to the math and the mechanics of the plan, making the pattern inevitable, one of the secrets of the pyramid to be militantly guarded with diversion and rationalization. The promise of unlimited rewards created a chain letter mania of Nutrilite recruiting, but built no foundation of stable salespeople or steady retail customers. When the salespeople quit, generally their customers, if they had any, were lost also. There were no territories to take over when the new recruit joined the business and no existing customer list to build upon. The company could not stay viable without relentlessly recruiting to replace an enormous turnover of the losers it manufactured with assembly line precision. The recruiting process of pyramid selling, unlike that of direct selling, was not a factor of labor related to the storied hardships of personal sales. There was no broad base of salespeople gaining modest but viable income. MLM recruiting was instead an existential function to offset continuous collapse as the lower ranks, which sourced most of the revenue, disappeared each year and never returned. It was not surprising, therefore, that soon after Nutrilite's decline set in from the late 1950s, two of Nutrilite's top recruiters defected and started a new company directly copying Nutrilite's now proven plan. The first defection and duplication of Nutrilite set the pattern that has not changed to today and has produced thousands of new MLMs. All of them are copies of Nutrilite. The defectors broke off to form a new company that was to be called Amway, destined to become the world's largest MLM and the progenitor of many more MLM clones. In 1972, Amway would acquire Nutrilite, absorb its diminished force of recruiters, and incorporate the Nutrilite potions into its product mix. The role of Nutrilite ends in the MLM drama. Amway quickly takes center stage. Most important to the untold story of multi-level marketing, as well as be shown in the next chapter, it will be Amway's founders that make MLM legal. The most important development in MLM's worldwide spread. As top recruiters for Nutrilite, the Amway founders witnessed how Nutrilite, using clever legal maneuverings, survived the FDA prosecution for making dangerously false medical claims without actually changing its false claims. Using its own legal maneuvering and powerful backroom lobbying, Amway will survive pyramid fraud prosecution without actually changing its pyramid practices. And that's when we will get into the lore of legality next time. I hope that was interesting to you guys and that you learned something from me reading what David published and how reporters don't actually really look into the mechanics of what they are putting out there and just put it out there as like legitimate. Because you often hear about, well, the legitimate MLMs, they're all the same. Every single one of them. They have different names. They have different crazy titles for their rank advancement. But overall, none of them talk about the expenses that people pay to be part of it and what they inevitably lose, nor do they mention the churn. And none of that's mentioned in any of the income disclosures. And the income disclosures themselves hide a lot of things. And they have access to the data. It's just not publicly available. They don't share that because it's part of the secret. It's part of the secret of why these businesses remain with us today and all around the world. And it saddens me so much that my country is responsible for it. So I will be one of the ones that will speak out against it because it is fraud, in my opinion. It is fraud and it's criminal. And everyone who has ever joined and lost deserves a voice. If they are too afraid to come forward and speak about it, I will. Well, guys, that's what I had for you for today. Thank you so much to my supporters, those of you who have subscribed, those of you who are my channel members, and those of you who are my patrons, and everybody who has participated in the chat, and also to the lurkers, to the replay crew, a whoop whoop for you, and the catch-up crew, a whoop whoop for you as well. And don't forget, you're beautiful and I love you. Until next time, because you know there will be. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening, and don't forget, you're beautiful and I love you. Until next time.